Probably know this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. What can you do if you have a young person in your family struggling with their mental health? Would you necessarily know? Joining us now is Rachel Bell, who's from Broadstairs, a mentor and facilitator with the group Rights for Girls. Rachel, good afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Pat. It's good to be here. And I'll just mention the Rights for Girls is RITES, as in rites of passage. It makes us easier to find when you're looking for us online.
Okay. And you provide help largely for girls between the ages of 8 and 18, don't you?
That's right, Pat. Yeah, we've got two wonderful courses that are really gentle and nurturing. They're not therapy, they're not schooly. One is online called GirlsNet, and that's for same-age girls from 8 to 18, as you said. It's a 6-week course to boost resilience and confidence and really make sure the girls know they don't have to change anything about themselves to fit in. We really give them time and space to practice being themselves, and we encourage them to stick with the stuff they love doing and to really stick by their values, because friendships are a huge issue for girls. Our other course is called Girls Journeying Together, and that's more of a year-long journey, much more in-depth, and that's specifically for girls aged 10 to 12, and that's about steering them safely into their teens when things can get tricky and the teenage brain feels things much more intensely. So it just sends a message to girls that they're not the only ones finding things tough. Intense feelings are normal. And both courses also are really supportive for the transition to secondary school.
I asked the question, if you have a young person in your family struggling with their mental health, how would you necessarily know? It is difficult, isn't it? Because if they don't tell us, how would we know?
That's a really good point, yeah, because often, a child might react disproportionately to something, feel angry or make a sarcastic comment because you're cooking rice instead of pasta, and that could mean that there are deeper issues at play. So I think a preventative approach is great, little and often, always being interested in their friendships and how their day's been, asking those open questions. And one of the lovely things we do at Rights for Girls is we encourage the mothers and daughters, but also the parent and any child, to go on a monthly date where they spend really quality time together and plan it together. It can be something small, it can be something much more adventurous, going out, but it can just be having a night in. But with that monthly time, the child knows that they can count on their parent or carer to commit to spending time with you. It can help the parent get back into their playful child self and sort of meet their child on the same level a bit more. And yeah, as long as it's got that quality of a date where you're putting the phones away, not doing any chores, and you're sort of, really committing to time together. If a child knows that that's happening every month, then they always know they've got some time to come and talk to you, and you'll be there.
You work with parents too, don't you? What advice would you offer to mums? Would there be different advice for mums and dads or not?
I think with mums and dads, they're often, their self-care can be at the bottom of the pile. We do run a lovely parenting course, which it really helps parents see that they're not the only ones as well. I did the course, and a parent said, "My gosh, parenting's so traumatic." And I thought, yes, I don't feel so alone now. It really can be intense. But just to parents, I'd say their self-care is important as well. And just to listen, even if they feel they don't understand their child, to try and reach them on their own, their child's level. And just ask those, more listening than talking. If you don't feel like you know what to say, just listen and try and rise above. If your child's being angry or sarcastic at you, try and let it go. Teenagers can be, some of them, more dramatic and feel things more intensely. And let your kids know it will pass. Feelings are normal. I think that's the key message, that mental health struggles are really normal. Normal is a myth, and that sitting with feelings like anxiety is okay. It's when you start to avoid it and push things away that they can get worse.
Obviously, an 8-year-old is very different to an 18-year-old, and I'm guessing one size doesn't fit all, does it?
An 80-year-old, did you say?
Well, between 8 and 18, you are a completely different person, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes. But we run the same course for all ages, but we do slightly adapt it, obviously, because the younger girls will be more excited to meet other girls in the group. And then when the girls approach their teen years, a lot of them can become more self-conscious. Body image plays a huge part as girls go into their teen years. Body image and friendships. Friendships for all ages, but body image is something that holds girls back. They step back from doing sport. Not in all cases. They become more socially anxious. Again, not in all cases. But yeah, we do see that in the teenage girls. And we say to the parents, try and, if your child doesn't want to join a new group, it's hard for most of us, just try and encourage them to see it as an investment in themselves. It's planting seeds, and we really don't ask anything off the girls. They can just come along with their camera off. We give them lots of things to take away. And actually what we do say is that you have it within yourself already to self-care. We say, what do you do when you feel upset or left out? What do you do? And when we have those discussions, and again, girls don't have to take part, they realise they're not the only ones who have these feelings, and it normalises them. But we encourage them to say, you're doing it already. You know what you need when you're feeling down, when you're feeling fed up.
Okay, we're out of time, but leave us, if you will, with your contact details, Rachel.
Yes, we can go on the Rights for Girls website. Again, it's rights as in rites of passage, rightsforgirls.com. Look at the girls group tab. You can see our 2 girls groups explained there. And as Kate Winslet said in her BAFTA speech, just ask. There's no shame or stigma in it. Admitting you need support, which can be harder for boys. There's no shame or stigma in it. Just ask, and the help will be there.
Good to talk to you, Rachel. Thank you for being with us.
On your radio.